G'day, it's Coach Pete here from Ascension and welcome to Whiteboard Wednesday. My whiteboard here, I'm going to discuss some training theory. We're going to look at General Adaptation Syndrome, how that underpins and explains supercompensation, and then how supercompensation leads to gains. So General Adaptation Syndrome is a theory that was developed in the 1930s, looks at the endocrine system, and basically describes how the body responds to a stress. We see it's broken into three phases in immediate response to a stress. Firstly, the body goes through an alarm phase. We also call this fight or flight. After it's gone through the alarm phase, it'll then seek to develop some form of resistance to the stress it's being exposed to. And this resistance will continue. However, if the resistance or the period of stress that it's exposed to is too long, the body will end up being exhausted, and ability to cope or deal with that stressor actually declines to below what our baseline or level of homeostasis is. General Adaptation Syndrome is sort of the basis of how supercompensation works. It's a similar idea, but we're now looking at how the body responds to training. We see a similar shaped curve. We see some slight differences. So effectively, as opposed to how a body deals or resists to stress, we're now looking at a particular fitness quality. Firstly, we see our fitness actually declines during a training session. We're exposing our body to mechanical work. It's applying a form of stress, not just to muscles, but to our energy systems, to our connective tissue. Following a period of recovery, we then have what is effectively compensation. So our body's fitness returns back to normal. Then if the training stress of the training session was enough, what we see is our body's fitness actually elevates, that is above the baseline. The idea of training is we want to continually repeat this. We want to continue to improve and continue to supercompensate above our baseline level. A key thing to consider though, training alone is not enough. Not only do we have to train, but we also have to recover. Recovery is as important as training. If we were to work on our 1 rep max squat, we would not just hit 1 rep max squats every day, 7 days a week, and expect that would actually improve our squat. It would actually provide too much stress to our body and would actually decline. We'd find every day our squats would probably go down. And when we're talking about supercompensation, talking about fitness, but in reality it's a specific training quality. You squatting will not necessarily make you bench press anymore. So with training we need to understand the actual stress is specific. What we train is what will improve. So if we squat more, we'll get better at squatting. And this is another training concept called specificity. Over the long term, we'll see that the rate of improvement actually declines as well. And this is known as the Law of Diminishing Returns. It happens in a lot of things and training is no different. As a beginner, we'll see more rapid improvements, especially when we start doing something for the first time. If we start going to the gym and doing strength training, we'll see our strength improve normally the first 6 to 8 weeks and we'll be really happy and satisfied with it. If we keep going to the gym for 6 to 12 months, we don't see that same rate of improvement. What we see is it actually takes more training stress to get even smaller and smaller adaptations or improvements over time. And we just need to bear this in mind. As we become more advanced, as we become fitter, it's actually harder to improve our fitness or whatever quality we're looking to improve. We see the magnitude of our improvements decline and how frequent they occur decline as well. And we also have to induce larger amounts of stress in order to elicit a smaller improvement. Also, we need different types of recovery. We see we can recover a lot faster as we're using lighter weights when we begin. As we're more advanced, it takes a larger amount of stress, so heavier weights in the case of strength training, to actually cause an adaptation, and that also requires more recovery. So we may not be able to make the same gains at the same frequency or the same magnitude as we get more experienced, and we need to expect and understand this. As we become better, improving our performance gets harder. Anyway, that's a bit of down and dirty on supercompensation theory. Points to remember: training is important. Recovery is equally important. Specificity: only what you train and allow to recover is what will actually improve. Lastly, improvements will decline in both magnitude and frequency over time.